So I came across Mike on YouTube and I decided to give his service a try. I booked the consultation. He was on time. He was very lenient. I was a little bit late. He was on time, but no worries. So he took care of me. And we started off with a history lesson and about the Pueblo people or the ancestral people of this land, what they look like as from the testimonials of the original Spaniards. He walked me through the process of the areas of the nation that these folks were located in, and he actually traced it all the way back to my home city of Philadelphia. But anyway, and he also went into Ancestry, broke that down for me to show me how I could do it on my own or use his service. And he was very concise and very professional. And as I stated before, it's almost like a history lesson, a great history lesson on the very high possibilities that one of my family members are part of the Native American tribe. So I recommend his service, and I'm going to recommend it to my other family members as well. So with that being said, yes, give him a try. It's awesome.
During the Dawes Commission at one time, our National Council did issue a resolution stating that they didn't think that the Allotment Act was in the best interest of people. And I personally would like to see our council do the same on this lawsuit, because I don't think it's in the best interest of our nation to add all these citizens. I like it how it is.
You know, I like it how it is. I don't want no color folks on the res getting some of our money. I like it the way it is. Come on. Come on. And guys, this video was years ago. This video was 6 years ago when the Creek Freedmen were first initiating a lawsuit. Guess what? Fast forward, we won that lawsuit. And I say we, even though I don't descend from a Creek Freedman, because let me give you guys some context. I'm a very open and very transparent individual. So let me just go ahead and give you guys some historical context. And this will also be a great advertisement for my genealogy consultation services, because this is the type of stuff I teach you guys how to research and find on your own. But let me just log in to my Ancestry.com account real quick so I can pull up my family tree and show you guys what I'm talking about here. All right, here we go. So my closest, most recent lineal ancestor, I was a card-carrying member of the Muskogee Nation. Pull him up right here in a second. Most recent ancestor, Pleasant Tobler. He was born in 1903. Pleasant Tobler. Pleasant Tobler descended from Fred Tobler and Mary Adams. Now, this is how they get away with their anti-black racist shit, right? Let's go ahead and look on the Dawes roll real quick. Type in my ancestors roll number 1017. Find them on the list real quick, fast. We freestyle them. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. We got him right here on the Dawes roll. Pleasant Tobler. He's placed on the roll at 2 years old. Gender is male. Blood quantum is 1/2. There's his roll number. He's a Creek by blood newborn. Well, hey, why is my ancestor's blood quantum 1/2? Why isn't he full-blooded? Was like one of his parents white and the other one native? Like, what's going on here? No, both his parents were full-blooded natives. But you see, the issue is his father, Fred, was too dark. So they called him a freedman. And you see here on the Dawes roll, they list freedmen as card-carrying members of the tribe, but they don't put a blood quantum. There's literally a blank space in the blood quantum category. So certain tribes, for example, my tribe, they say, hey, if you want to be a citizen, you have to not just have an ancestor that was on the Dawes roll, but they also have to have a blood quantum. And you can see they don't list the Indian blood of the freedmen. What does that mean? All the freedmen were African slaves? No. Some of the freedmen were full-blooded Indians, no African admixture at all, misclassified Indians that underwent a paper genocide, prisoners of war.
So for anybody who is on the fence about having Mike help you or walk you through or educating you about genealogy and the genocide that has happened with the paper trail, I implore you to reach out, allow him to educate you and assist you in this process. I have learned so much in this consultation. I feel educated, empowered, and excited for learning about my history, and looking forward to the future. So if you're on the fence, please go ahead, hit up Mike. I I promise you will not be disappointed.
Days, there was, full-blood Creeks who missed out on citizenship. And I'm sure there was some freedmen, who did have Creek blood who probably missed.
Oh, so now he's going to admit that there were freedmen who had Creek blood who missed out on citizenship. But he doesn't want to get that rectified, right? Hey, I do know there were some freedmen who were full-blooded Indians. They weren't no African slaves. There was Indians. But, I still don't think we should let the freedmen get membership. What is man's talking about?
There was, full-blood Creeks who missed out on citizenship. And I'm sure there was some freedmen, who did have Creek blood who probably missed out on it too. But, that was 156 years ago.
But we don't give a fuck how long it's been. We don't care. The tribe's constitution was written 150 years ago, and you still want us to go by what's in the tribal constitution, but you don't want to go by the treaty. Oh, I know some freedmen by blood missed out, but it was 150 years ago. F out of here. They don't want me on the reservation. I'm going to get, oh, Lord, they don't want me on the reservation. I'm just going to hold my tongue.
They did get land. They received a lot of land. And I'd just like to see our 1979 Constitution upheld. It's still premature. As far as we know, they have not been served yet. We've kind of read over the case file that they filed. I did contact the nation about it, and the word I received was that they will challenge the suit. And there are
6 years later, and the freedmen are winning in court. He mad as hell.
There are tribal nations who freedmen have won the case, and they do have citizenship. The Seminole Nation, they were the first ones, and then recently the Cherokee Nation. And now in 2018, the freedmen are filing against the Creek Nation. But the word was RAG will challenge the suit, and that was good news. I was happy to hear that, and we'll be paying attention, and we'll see what happens. I'm not a lawyer, so all I can do is I hope that anyone ruling on this, whatever federal judge gets this case, I would hope they would listen to us and realize that our sovereignty is based on our heritage, and this would change.
And you're trying to bar us from reparations that our ancestors were given by the Creek Nation and the U.S. government based on our phenotype and complexion. You racist ass $5 Indian, Mongolian, pretendian ass you. Hey, I'm just saying, Mike TV does not endorse hate speech, but how can I do this while still following YouTube community guidelines?
So that's how they identified themselves. Now, they might not be born to a Creek parent, but that's just what they told them, and there was really no investigation into that. That's in, you can look that up, and that's how they formed these roles. And it was no secret that outsiders, they wanted to be on these roles, because when it went from the breakup of our communal land to individual allotments, that's why they formed the roles. And people wanted to know, how can I get this land? How can we got 160 acres, 40-acre homes.
So basically, he's trying to sneak this and say without saying that he thinks the black people, even though they lived with the Creek Indians and spoke the language and were a part of the community, he thinks they just want to get some piece of land.
Shout outs to Mike TV. He's helping me get my genealogy and tribal affiliations in order. I'm actually going to go to a family reunion this coming weekend. So shout out to you, Mike. And I got faith that you're going to make it happen. You know what I mean?
He's going to totally negate the treaty that the Creek Nation signed in 1866 with the U.S. government. He's going to totally negate that. It's because some black folks want to steal some land. But he ain't saying a goddamn thing about all them white $5 Indians they adopted into the tribe. Maybe his grandmama one of them.
Standing at 120-acre surplus land. But even on those rolls, there's errors. I've built a database for the tribe at one time, and to be an enrolled citizen, we have to prove by blood. So there can be no holes in our ancestry. If you're missing birth certificates, then you're not going to be able to be enrolled. And when you look at the Freedmen census cards, you will see errors on their census cards. There's question marks by their parents, and then all of a sudden it's listed Creek as their citizenship. But if that was our case in our genealogy, we would not be able to be enrolled. So no, that's just some more errors with that came along with the whole Dawes Commission, the rolls, and but in the end, I would like to see our Constitution upheld, the 1979.
Sir, it's 2024. I'm not going to reach through the airwaves and make your face run into my hand. You can just say you don't like black people. It's okay. We know you grew up poor, methed out on the reservation in squalor, and you probably saw bad things about black folks on the media, and you developed a disdain and an anti-black sentiment. You can just be honest with us, because the rationale you're trying to give doesn't make sense.
One thing, when the 1979 Constitution was ratified, they took out the House of Kings and they took out the House of Warriors, and I always thought that was a mistake. But this was never our form of tribal government. It was forced on us. If you look at our history, every treaty was a handful of people to sign it. They were intimidated, bribed, and none of them were upheld. No treaties. And this one that the Freedmen are using to get citizenship.
Look at the wordplay, y'all. Look at the wordplay. Look at the body language. Peep how he had to take a big gulp before he finishes his sentence. The treaty that the Freedmen are trying to use, you mean the treaty you signed with the United States government that said the Freedmen would become free and get full citizenship and tribal benefits? You mean that one? It's not that the Freedmen are trying to use something. $5 Indian boy, but that's a treaty that you signed with the government. So why do you want to cry about the government breaking treaties and being Indian givers if when it comes to the treaty with the Freedmen, you want to break that one, huh? You want to break that treaty, but we supposed to feel sorry that the government's breaking treaties with your ass. So, okay.
You know, it's in 4 days, it'll be 152 years old. So how far do we go back? You know, every single one of them has been violated. And like I said, it was always a handful of signers. It was never every town in our Confederacy. When it was the full council, you can look in our history, and they never agreed on any of these treaties. Most of them were land cessions.
Yeah, you guys gotta check out that genealogy consultation. I learned a lot of information from the man Mike TV. A lot of stuff I didn't know, a lot of history. It's a lot to unfold and a lot of mysteries you won't even know about until you do this. You really need to do this to find out about your genealogy and yourself, because that's the only way you're gonna get this stuff done and get your stuff that you rightfully own, what's your land and your money, everything. I appreciate everything, Mike, all the information. I learned a lot. Good looking, brother.
Starting back in Alabama and Georgia.
If your ancestors didn't agree to the treaties, what the are you doing in Oklahoma? Why are you in Oklahoma? Lying ass. Why are you in Oklahoma? If all of these treaties are fake and your ancestors really didn't sign any of these treaties, then what the are you doing in Oklahoma when our ancestral Creek homeland is Alabama? Oh, he's living on the res, getting them government handouts, and it's all peachy. But when it comes to the Treaty of 1866, hey, the treaty was 150 years ago, and some people signed, but not everybody signed, and you can't even look us in the eye. Look at him, oh mate.
Georgia, and then up until post removal, there would have been, I guess, two. One before the 1866 treaty, where Seminoles got their own. They were under the Creek Nation at one time, but that one gave them their own constitution. I look at it as from the beginning, what Creek people were, who we were, where we come from, and anybody who ever came into our nation. I mean, even on our rolls now, go back to the Dawes rolls, we had Mexicans on our rolls, we had adopted whites, and then of course the Freedmen rolls. But when you go,
they adopted whites, guys. They adopted whites, and he doesn't have anything negative to say about the whites they adopted, but he got something to say about why he doesn't think the blacks should get proper citizenship and benefits, huh? But they adopted the whites, and he thinks it's okay to have the white. The part like a prosecutor, you don't up right. You don't
to the Dawes rolls and look into that history. That was a mess in itself. There was no Bureau of Vital Statistics. There was no official birth certificates. What you had were people going around asking questions. And most of them back then, the Freedmen, they did live around Creek people. They did speak our language.
Oh, so we lived with you and we like spoke your language, but like somehow we're not part of the tribe because we're too dark. We have too much melanin. We don't look slant eye Mongolian enough for you.
My name is Marietta Jessup, and I booked a consultation with Mike. It was so informative. I have a huge family. Like, my family is really big. It's like 11 brothers and sisters, and all together with the grandkids and the great grandkids, it's like over 100 of us. So I started thinking, we need to know where we from, because my mom died in 2021 and my dad died last year, and we need to know where we come from and who we are. And the information that I got from Mike was so astounding, things I never even thought about or heard about. And I just appreciate everything that he has done and everything that he had given me. And I would suggest that every Black American, African American, do your genealogy, because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need to know where you come from. Your kids gonna need to know where they come from, and your grandkids gonna need to know where they come from. So do it, and he's very good, and I appreciate it. And thank you, Mike.